The people who think they're going to lose their jobs because of AI, people that are going to go innovate with their jobs and use AI, they're going to keep their jobs. I think in education, it's a slam dunk that education is going to change.
Our relationship with technology is evolving rapidly. As AI is changing businesses and reshape our world, what does the future hold?
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of AI Business Transformation. I'm Michael Coppola, and today I'm really excited to be with Tim Draper, legendary venture capitalist. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Michael. Thanks for having me on your show.
Thank you, Tim. I'm really excited to dive into your experience and your vision on how AI is reshaping businesses. I want to start with a really straightforward question, as you have been investing in really the biggest tech revolution from Hotmail to Tesla to Bitcoin. Where do you think AI stands in comparison to this past wave of disruption?
Well, just the way the internet has really pervaded every industry in the world, I think AI is going to pervade pretty much every industry in the world. I think it's going to be a similar transformation. People are saying AI, my son said AI is going to take all our jobs. And I said, yeah, what do you think? He said, yeah, it's going to take all our jobs. And I started to think about it, and I thought, yeah, of course it is. But what that really means is that, look, if you want to have a job in the future, you've got to use AI. If you don't want a job in the future, you keep it the way it is. AI is going to be so effective, so helpful to so many people. We're already using it in venture capital. I've got 5 digital twins. I can go into that if you want. I can tell you all the ways we're using AI in venture capital.
Definitely. We would like to know more about, because AI business transformation is all about how AI is changing. So feel free to dive into
Sure.
practical application as well.
We have a data lake, 250,000 companies, and it spits out 5 startups every week. And those 5 startups I look at and I evaluate, and so that we take the LLM that is the data lake and we add my expert system to the algorithm, and it spits out 5, and I look and I say, oh, this one's going to be a race to the bottom. This, just a feature on Google. This is the team doesn't match the mission, whatever. And then I say, oh no, this one's interesting, and I keep doing that. And now we have just found our first and our second companies that we funded through our data lake. So there's one. Then when we evaluate entrepreneurs, we do a recording, and we have a voice evaluation tool, and we have a visual emotion detector, and so we can see where if we missed it ourselves, which we don't usually miss, but the AI can detect emotion, whether somebody's lying, the strength of their voice, the passion in their voice, and then in diligence, even in real time while we're evaluating a company, we use Wokelo and a couple others to evaluate and look. While we're interviewing the entrepreneur, we get to look at who are their competitors, what are their backgrounds. All these things pop up so that our questions are much more pointed, much more active. And then post-investment, I guess we haven't gotten AI to do the legal documentation yet, but maybe we'll get there too. But post-investment, we I have one digital twin that is a like a talking
Avatar,
head.
3D avatar, yeah.
Yeah, a talking head that allows me to, in effect, publish all the press releases from all the portfolio companies that send me their press releases. So they send me the press releases, and then we publish them, but we do it in a way where it looks very natural and it looks like it's me promoting
Fantastic.
it or whatever. And then we have a few other digital twins. Inside Draper University, there's a big hologram of me that's a giant thing. And people have spent 2 hours asking it questions.
Interacting, yeah.
And then we have a hotline, a phone number that our entrepreneurs can call and get advice from me through my AI. And so we're making as much progress as we can, as we think we can. I'm sure there are more things that we can do.
They're really similar of what we are actually building with my agent AI is similar concept of a digital twin, but we also want to democratize to allow any expert to create their own AI agent and allow them to act as well, not just by conversational, but also by acting. So really similar of what you're already using.
Yeah, we have 3 groups working on very similar projects for us. And one's going to be the hotline, one's going to go on to the the hologram, and
That's
another
really,
one is just aggregating everything I've ever said. So like this podcast will go into AI.
yeah, that's really, really interesting. In fact, it's
We're
also
doing a we're doing a tour, the Draper America tour, where we're filming Meet the Drapers. We're interviewing entrepreneurs everywhere, and in doing that, we were trying to put together the most efficient tour. We used AI to schedule the tour, and we add more things, and AI does another wrap on it. So yeah, it's really interesting. You can use it for so many things.
yeah, it's really transforming the way we live and work. In fact, we really believe into AI agent, agentic AI agent. They are changing and creating new business model for people. And this is where we also are working a lot with our My Agent AI application. But Tim, I want to also talk about you have been an advocate of decentralization with Bitcoin, investing early stage in Bitcoin. Um, do you see these two technology merging together to create new businesses around?
Well, I think every business is going to be affected by AI. I have seen 1 or 2 new businesses that are improving the experience with Bitcoin with AI. And I think that will continue to happen. Bitcoin is completely transformative to all finance everywhere, finance, accounting, commerce, all commerce. It's going to build more liquidity into the marketplace. The world's just going to be better off with Bitcoin. And it won't be tied to political forces. It won't be, it's going to be open and transparent and global, and you can move it everywhere, and it's accepted everywhere. So it's going to have a big impact, and it is decentralized. So that will make a difference. And then you can use Bitcoin for smart contracts, and those contracts can be and DeFi. I mean, you can have all sorts of decentralized finance applications, and all of that can be applied to AI. I think you can use AI to improve on all of those things. You know, there's a company that came to us that's a lawyer, and he came and he said, we're going to use AI and we're going to do a better job than any lawyer can do in defending clients in a lawsuit. And I said, great. And I said, well, can you also do the other side? Can you do the suer, not just the suey? And he said, yeah. And I said, can you settle it? And he said, yeah. So I actually think we're going to be there will be a moment where AI creates the best argument for both sides of every lawsuit and settles it, or at least to some degree settles it. I'm thinking that in my contracts with people, instead of saying arbitration and then courts, it will say AI settlement and then arbitration and then courts. So the courts almost will never happen, because if the AI says this should be settled at a certain point, then the courts aren't going to fight that. They're going to say, well, wait, why do I know better than AI does? AI is an agglomeration of 6 billion people. It's anyone who's on the internet is a part of the data that goes into AI.
Yeah,
So I actually think it's going to probably have better judgment than any judge.
Tim, and talking about decentralization, I want to just ask you one thing, because there is a lot of advocate for not only decentralized finance, but also application. Many people there are saying that the power of internet as centralized in few people, in few companies, that they own this monopoly of technology company. Do you think that the blockchain, the technology behind Bitcoin could help us to decentralize, or actually is a problem, the centralization of power of internet for you? Do you think is actually a problem?
Well, I don't think it's a real problem. I think it's an opportunity for entrepreneurs. The whole Web3 movement, led by Unstoppable Domains, is all about that. It's all about owning your own data, decentralized controls, have a website that's decentralized, have a wallet that's decentralized, and that world is coming. And when people start feeling like, one or two, 10 companies are controlling too much, I point them to I think it's every other decade, 7 out of the 10 biggest companies turn over. So you have in 2020, the biggest companies were, sure, Google and Microsoft, but they were also Exxon and General Motors, but they were not the same. And then before that, it was like Procter and Gamble and some big retailer and something else. And before that, it was General Electric, and every 2 decades, every generation, the top 10 companies in the world turn over. So I like to think about it a little differently. Not that, oh, all these companies are controlling data. I like to look at it and I say, well, okay, well then where do we go with that? And then what are going to be the 10 companies that are the most valuable in 10 or 20 years? And I think those companies are going to be the ones that have decentralized the data, that have, already it's starting to look like Bitcoin's going to be one of those, and probably Coinbase, and maybe Unstoppable, and maybe Tesla, and SpaceX. I mean, different companies will be the top 10. They won't be the same. They won't be Google, Facebook, Microsoft. I mean, maybe one or two of those will still stay in the top 10, but I don't think so. So I would, whenever people start to panic like that, I always think there's a great opportunity for entrepreneurs to do something really special. And that is happening. We got some great entrepreneurs. They're doing special things, and usually they do solve those problems.
Talking about investing in this AI-driven world, you have been speaking already about some way that you integrate in AI, but for the founder side, where do you think they can stand out? Because now there is a really increase of competition, accessibility to build the application is easier than ever. So how do you think founders can stand out in this AI-driven world?
Well, just the way it was when the internet started popping up, entrepreneur, and actually same as when people started to write software. The businesses can be started with very few people, and it is very inexpensive to get a business started. And I think that's a great opportunity for any individual. Now you have some tools that can really take your ideas and implement them in ways that they haven't been implemented before. And that, in some ways, that's great for AI, but eventually it'll be robots. People will be able to say to robots, hey, go create a business that does dry cleaning, and the robots will go do it. I think we've got, this is only limited by our imaginations. I think our imaginations as entrepreneurs, the entrepreneurs in us, can imagine almost anything, and AI can help us get there. And in some case, do a better job than a big team of people. So I think there'll be a premium moving forward for creativity. I think there'll be a premium for honesty. That honesty continues to be more important in the world. And I think the creatives are going to really benefit from AI. They're going to be able to do extraordinary things that they never could do before, and do them so much faster and with so much more data. And it's not just, text, it's graphics, it's movies, it's, you can lay out a screenplay and the whole thing can be written, and then you can have that movie made.
Yeah, the shit is that many people, as every wave of new innovation, they are, concerned about, they don't like change. So I also come from the filmmaking background. I got a lot of, colleagues that they are struggling to adapt this new technology, where at the end it's just a tool to get us faster where we want to do. So it is a shame, but for us that we embrace it, we are making things happen much faster, being much more creative, creating a 5 times faster and, delivering much better stories as well.
Yeah, I think, just as the spreadsheet allowed me to keep track of a lot more businesses and a lot more companies, AI is going to allow me to not just keep track, but invest in more companies, see more companies, evaluate more companies, figure out which one's the winner earlier. I think it's really going to help my business just the way, software did, the internet did. And I know that to continue to build a good business, you really have to lean forward and lean into new technologies. The people who think they're going to lose their jobs because of AI are. And the people who don't think people that are going to go innovate with their jobs and use AI, they're going to keep their jobs. So go use AI.
Yeah, exactly. Completely agree. Yeah.
It's like Henry Ford said something like, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic. It is actually, yeah, it's a big mindset. Yeah, it's a big mindset to understand, the things that you can achieve. So, yeah, this is why we are, in fact, doing this podcast as well, and inviting, successful entrepreneur, because, yeah, we are really excited about, the opportunity that, yeah, this can create. Tim, talking about one application that you think, do you have in mind one application that could explode in the next 5 or 10 years? Something specific you have your radar on?
Well, we're looking at a lot of things. Yeah, you're talking about how AI is going to affect different things. We think in healthcare, computational biochemistry is going to explode because the data will be so prevalent everywhere, and you'll get much better results from any kind of drug you test. So testing drugs going to be a big deal. Testing anything medicine related is going to be a big deal because data, it just keeps coming out. New data keeps coming out. Yeah, we're finding, we're all sorts of things that it's possible that viruses kill cancers. So the reason the vaccine generated more people with cancer was probably because they were blocking viruses that would have killed cancer. It stopped COVID, but it might have done that. And that data starts to come out. All sorts of things start to come out there. I think in education, it's a slam dunk that education is going to change. As much as the teachers' unions don't want to see any change, there is too much value to learning through AI. It's extraordinary what I've been able to learn through AI.
Yeah, me the same. You learn at the speed of light. It is incredible.
Every question you have, every curiosity, every idea, you can follow it right through, and it really does help. So education is another one. Science, I think, is going to be one. We have one called Consensus. We have an investment in something called Consensus that is doing one that helps scientists share and use each other's data and find things in AI that can't be found in general AI. There are other applications for AI. I think scheduling, it's just magic for scheduling. That's just amazing what it can do for scheduling. And then making movies or advertising. Advertising is really going through transformation now. And since it's so easy to create a beautiful model and put a dress on her, you know, and with AI, there are a lot of photographers and models that are saying, well, I'm going to have to think how I'm going to be able to use AI in my life. So amazing things happening out there in the world. I think it's going to create global productivity. We're going to be, in general, a much richer and more connected society because of it. And, you know, I mean, there are always the people that see the downside in everything. The downside here is, yeah, you're going to lose your job. So get a job. I mean, start learning AI. Start doing stuff with AI. Do your job with AI, and that's a new job.
Yeah. Yeah, we also have, as human, negative biases. So many times we tend to don't see the big upside, but as an entrepreneur, we have trained to recognize the big upside. But many other people, they stay in that negative biases. They cannot see the big opportunity that this is representing. So we are really excited for what is coming. Tim, and I want to ask you, you have been invented one of the first viral internet marketing with Hotmail.
Yeah.
Is impressive. Yeah.
First time anybody ever used it. And it worked magically. And now it's amazing how many products have grown super fast because of viral marketing, because I created that way back when. I just thought it through, and I said, well, if we're going to send an email to you, and you got a whole bunch of different friends than I do, then you can tell all your friends about Hotmail. And then we just say, okay, well, let's put a message at the bottom of everybody's screen. And it was this, it was permanent. It stayed with all of Hotmail, every email that went out. And yeah, it was a remarkable advertising accomplishment.
Incredible.
So, yeah, I'm very proud of that.
Tim, do you have maybe some idea of how that could, some idea on AI powered board? Have you ever thought around that? There could be any similar viral marketing through using AI?
That's interesting. The one thing that I haven't really experimented with is iterative AI. So the idea that I would get AI to do something and then it would flip and then it would do something else and then it would do something else and do something else automatically. It's been, so far, AI has been very transactional for me. One question, one answer. But I'll bet some good engineers could design something that was more iterative so that AI could go out and I know they're using it for like testing multiple things multiple times.
Agentic.
Other applications for that. It might be interesting to design something that is AI testing a number of different ads on people. Because see, I don't drink, So why would they ever send me any alcohol advertisements? But I have, you know, I don't know what I have an interest. I have an interest in startups, so they could advertise startups to me. They could, and maybe you like classic cars. Maybe they could advertise classic cars to you. AI could do an iterative thing that could specifically target you, and you'd get better and better ads. That might be kind of interesting.
Like,
I hadn't thought about it, so I'll have
yeah,
to
yeah.
put some more thought into it.
Yeah, I would love to hear. I mean, it's all about understanding the best way to leverage some virality when launching application. And so we are trying to think about how we can do it in this AI-driven world. But I talking about some big bet that you maybe are considering. You have been going through some of them. There is one in particular new idea, like big as Bitcoin, or you are more focused on other application.
Oh, what's coming along that's big? Is that what you're
Yeah,
asking?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I think AI is going to transform all the different industries of the world, so that's going to be a big thing. I think there's a gravitational pull toward Bitcoin. Both the developers are more operating on Bitcoin because Bitcoin's market share has gone from 40 maybe 5 years ago to 50, maybe 2 years ago to 63 today. There's a it's the biggest cryptocurrency by it's 2/3 of all the cryptocurrency. And so most developers are developing any new applications that they maybe build on something else to Bitcoin now. So I think that's important. I think in space and transportation, it's interesting that we did a lot of space and transportation investments and we were kind of out there in the forest alone. And now the military seems to be acquiring, buying the products from those companies. So those are doing quite well. I think in healthcare, we're seeing a lot of transformation, sort of going from the chemical to from chemotherapy to bio, to the stem cells and cloning and that kind of thing. A lot of that is taking place now. And the biology transformations seem to be more effective than the chemical ones. So big pharma's been built on the chemicals. We think that there might be more opportunity in biology. So that could be interesting. Lots of changes in healthcare, the CRISPR, AI, all the genetic things, all the data. So many things are happening in healthcare. And then, yeah, I'm kind of looking for education startups because I think, the existing education system isn't working, and I think it's going to fall under its own weight. And people are going to be much more educated by the work they do in asking questions of AI than they are in the classroom. Classroom might be good for, building proper manners, and then recess will be good for social interaction. But other than that, I think you're going to learn a lot faster and a lot better once you've learned how to read, just through AI. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, in fact, it's really fascinating
And then robots. I think robots are going to be a big deal too. And
yeah.
then, whatever entrepreneurs come to us with, we de-extincted or this company called Colossal Biosystems has de-extincted the dire wolf, and they're working on de-extincting the woolly mammoth. So,
Wow, incredible. Yeah,
and there's a new country called Prospera. It's sort of a country inside of Honduras, within a country, that is allowing real freedom. And so we expect Prospera to be as big as Dubai in 15 or 20 years, because they're encouraging all sorts of innovations. Also, beautiful place.
that's incredible. And Tim, you have created Draper University to help train the next generation of startup heroes. What do you think is the mindset or skill set that AI founders should absolutely have?
Well, Draper University, it's technically called Draper University of Heroes. And what we do there is, in effect, we're a human accelerator. And we get people thinking about doing things that they never thought they'd be able to do. And that helps them, helps our founders just become better entrepreneurs. And that has, and the system seems to work. We've had 6,000 founders through there, and they have started about 2,000 companies. It's about 15 years old, and we already have something like 6 unicorns. We have about 25 companies that are worth more than $100 million were all started right there. So I think it's actually a really powerful force. So if you're an AI entrepreneur, yes, you should spend the 5 weeks at Draper University and get a real supercharge. We also created something called Meet the Drapers, which is a show. And that TV show, I interview 4 entrepreneurs per show, and then we build it up to a big finale where they compete to get $1 million investment at the end. And that has been a great place for entrepreneurs, AI entrepreneurs and others, to be attracted and to start building great companies. So lots of ways. We just think, hey, you're starting an AI startup, think Draper. That would be good.
That's incredible, Tim. And what mindset or skill set do you think you are teaching through as well Draper University? What are some key elements that entrepreneur they should have to succeed in this AI driven world?
I think it's in every human, this passion to create, to innovate, to learn, to grow, to provide value for other humans. It's innate, and all we do is we open it up. So what would I say to entrepreneurs? Well, I'd say just go and you'll learn. We learn by doing. It's a kinesthetic experience. So yeah.
Taking action is more valuable than anything else, and iterate on that action, and keep learning, adapting, and making mistake and keep building, going in the right direction. That definitely, So thank you very much for being in this other episode of AI Business Transformation. Tim needed to leave this episode early, but we're really excited for for this episode, and we're looking forward to see you to the next one. Thank you.
Hi there, welcome to my channel. I'm Michael Coppola. I'm excited to have you here. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Together, let's explore the incredible potential of entrepreneurship, business innovation, and technology to take your ventures to the next level.